Thank you for watching RooTV.
Welcome back to RooTV. I'm Sydney Jean.
And I'm Deja McKenzie.
UMKC's SGA started off strong with a focus on historical honesty. Under the leadership of newly elected President Ophelia Griffin, the Student Government Association launched the semester on a promising note. Griffin's enthusiastic commitment to creating a better SGA experience was evident in the meeting. Comptroller Justice Horn propelled the momentum by introducing the Truth Over Troost Act, which aims to condemn the honoring of slave owner Dr. Benoit Troost and advocates for renaming Troost Avenue to Truth Avenue. Horn said taking a side was necessary because of Troost's reputation and the street's proximity to campus.
From sprawling across 15 million acres to now covering less than 0.5% of the state, Missouri prairies are some of the most endangered ecosystems in North America. Conversationists from across the country are working to maintain, restore, and reconstruct some of these lost prairies, even as close as 35 miles from UMKC, and some are using a unique method, goats. At Powell Gardens, Kansas City Botanical Garden head conversationist Julie Copley said that she has a passion for conservation that stems from growing on a prairie land lost to agriculture. There's a lot of weight to how much habitat we lost, but if you actually go out into a prairie, it's pretty inspiring to see the community that exists there, stated Copley. Many of Powell Gardens' operations rely on volunteers. These people give their time to help run events, maintain the gardens, and assist conservation efforts.
UMKC is in the early stages of hosting one of the most significant projects in Volker campus history, with the Oak Street Development Project, including the school's arena. On May 15th, the university released a request for proposals that introduced the plan to add more amenities for students and staff. The RFP explicitly mentions a large plot of land totaling about 5.3 acres that starts near Johnson Hall and stretches to 51st Street. While the arena will be on campus grounds, UMKC will not hold any rights to the building. Instead, ownership belongs to the development team awarded the proposal bid. The university will use the arena for 6 months strictly for athletic purposes. The arena will be the home of the Kansas City Roos men's and women's basketball plus volleyball teams. The athletic department feels the small stadium would help the program tremendously.
UMKC students can earn class credit for volunteering. Eligibility is based on major and must be confirmed by the school of each degree. Students interested in earning this credit should talk to their advisor. Outside of volunteering, Powell Gardens hosts many events and hires a summer conservation intern that works alongside the head of conservation. More information about the internship will be posted on the Powell Gardens website in February 2024. Now, let's hop into the den.
Welcome back into the den. I'm Jackson Ogden.
And I'm Christian Martinez. It was a busy opening week for Roo Athletics, so we got you covered on anything you may have missed.
Men's soccer hit the road to begin their regular season play and were met with a tough 4-0 loss to Utah Valley in the season opener. The Roos wouldn't come home empty on the trip, however, securing a point at Bradley on Sunday in a 0-0 draw. They'll look to get their first win of the season this Thursday against Missouri State right here at Durwood Soccer Stadium at 7:30.
Well, women's soccer also hit the road this past week, and they brought back a point. They tied against Southern Illinois on Thursday before their big rivalry match against St. Louis on Sunday. Unfortunately, this one wasn't much of a contest, as the Roos got topped 8-0, with the Roos being outshot 22-1. They put that one behind them, and they look to finish off the road trip with a win at Colorado State on Thursday before returning home to take on UIC on Sunday.
As we mentioned a week ago, volleyball was set for a busy weekend down in Florida, and boy did they get off to a sizzling start. The Roos went 3-0 in the FAU Invitational, topping Fairleigh Dickinson, Florida Atlantic, and Holy Cross. The grind doesn't stop there for KC, as they are set for yet another Invitational this Thursday in Springfield. They'll take on Missouri State, Arkansas Pine Bluff, and UT Martin.
Well, Jackson, after some Royals talk, let's talk about the Chiefs.
Back to Kansas City Chiefs.
There's a big talking point right now
Absolutely.
in Chiefs Kingdom, and that is Chris Jones. Give me your takes on that right now.
It's a tough situation. You obviously want your favorite players to get paid, and Chris Jones definitely deserves to get paid, but this is a salary cap space league. It's not like the MLB where you can just send out all this money. You've got to stay under the cap, and Chris Jones is a great player, but the Chiefs showed you last year they're willing to move off an elite level player like Tyreek Hill if the price just doesn't match what they want to do. We have to keep in mind Chris Jones is nearly 30. It's a tough situation to be in. I think it's a little selfish for Chris Jones to hold out of some regular season games. I understood training camp, preseason, he doesn't want to get hurt, but now he's actively hurting his teammates. I feel like Chris Jones, you might not be happy with the contract. You're still making over $20 million, though. I think he needs to show up.
And I've had this discussion with a lot of guys like BJ Kissel, and I think a lot of people make a good point when saying, while it sucks that Chris Jones is on the team, he deserves to get paid.
Yes.
The man is single-handedly the engine for the defense. Mahomes runs the offense. Chris Jones runs that defense. He knows exactly what needs to happen. He can do everything. Not literally everything, but he can do everything that's needed. He can blitz. He can play well on the run. He can command just his entire line. You look at, for example, the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
He played on the outside, a place where he normally doesn't play.
Yeah, they put him at edge.
Yeah, played him at edge. He got a sack. He had his first sack in the playoffs.
Yeah, which was wild to think. Like, he's been so good, and he just now got his first sack.
And it's crazy, isn't it? So to me, I see this as just a stalemate. While some people may think, like Albert Breer wrote, that maybe Chris Jones has leverage. I get that. I get that Chris Jones has leverage. But also the Chiefs see this and say, okay, if you're not going to play, then we're happy to sit you. So, again, I am confused about this situation. It's a little rare. It's a little weird. Because it's not like Nick Bosa. It's not like anything else we've seen. So I just wonder, are we going to be able to move on from him?
Yeah, and this is not a man, and this is what I really want to stress, is this is not a man that's on a rookie contract. It's not like he's getting paid, $3-4 million to play football this year. He's getting paid over $20 million, and this is a contract, Christian, that he and his agent agreed to.
Yeah.
It's not like anyone forced him to take this contract. This is a contract that they agreed to. Now, I get it. In the contract year, you're worried about an injury. You want to secure a longer-term deal. But you agreed to sign for this many years. You're under contract this year. Go out and play. It's your job. Go do it. Like, I get where he's coming from. I get that he wants to get paid. But at the end of the day, you signed this contract. You agreed to play under this number. So play under this number.
I also have something to say about the Katz brothers. I also think the Katz brothers are estimating themselves. They really think they're going to get a lot of money off of Chris Jones. I understand. Again, Chris Jones, probably second best defensive tackle in the league. You can argue to say that he's the best. He might be the first now. Yeah, he might be the best. But the Katz brothers can't go out there, talk to Veach and say, okay, you need to pay him like this. We deserve this amount of money. Because Veach is a mastermind. We already have seen him do his magic.
So Tyreek, he said no to Tyreek. He'll say no to Chris Jones.
And he turned Tyreek Hill into rookies that made a difference.
Contributed to a Super Bowl.
So again, I just wonder, with the Bears talk, we could see Chris Jones move on. If I were someone who can predict the future, I would say that Chris Jones is gone from Kansas City. And again, it could happen as soon as a couple days after this episode airs. Maybe it happens in week 8.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think Chiefs fans just need to prepare for him to move on, because Chris Jones and the Katz brothers, they are really trying to do a little too much than they should be. They're trying to reach for the cookie jar, and they know they can't reach for it. So,
final point I'll make on the situation is that I think, my personal opinion is, I don't know how many games he misses, but I do believe Chris Jones ends up playing for the Chiefs this year, has a solid season. I think he does what he's been doing. It might take him a little bit to get into it because he didn't go to training camp or anything. He might be a little rusty, but I think he ends up showing up, and I also think that Chris Jones, gets the bag in the offseason. However, I think the Chiefs tag him and trade him. I don't think he's a Chief next year, but I do think we're so close to the season at this point, it's just going to be hard to move him at this point. I believe that he ends up playing this season. We have another great season. We compete for a Super Bowl again. We tag him and we move on. That's what I believe at this point. But that's all the time we have today for sports. Let's go ahead and toss it on over to Joshua Cunningham for Lifestyle and Culture.
Welcome back to Lifestyle and Culture. I'm your host, Joshua Cunningham, and today I'm doing Zach Bryan's new album called Zach Bryan. But I'm going to do a new process of ranking the album. So I call this process the 7x7, made by yours truly. And it's 7 points in 7 different categories. Number, just 1 meaning not at all or terrible, 2 barely, 3 okay, 4 average, 5 good, 6 great, and 7 perfect. And then the 7 categories are length, atmosphere, storytelling, evocative, replayability, shareability, and Instagram worthy. So I'm going to rank that album off of this. So first we're going to start with length. And so length for me is how long is it actually and how long does it feel to listen to. So it's 45 minutes long, not bad. And I would rank it a 4 because I don't get bored or upset like when I'm listening to it, but I'm also, not upset when it ends. It's not like I'm wanting more or anything like that. So it's like an average amount of, length. And then atmosphere for me, this might sound strange, but it's like if I look at the album cover, the emotions that I feel from listening to this album, does it like go with the album cover? Do I feel those colors? Do I feel like I'm in that place that the album cover's at, right? And I want it to bring me there. So I ranked it a 5.5 on the atmosphere. Certain songs really made me feel like I was where Zach Bryan was, and like where he was smoking that cigarette at. But others, it just didn't bring me there. It kind of made me feel like, I was still where I am right now. Storytelling is a 4. For me, storytelling, it's like, it needs to be like a book, Efnon knows a lot about that, but it needs to be where there's like a beginning, middle, and end. This one didn't really have a beginning, middle, or end. It had an end, but it was more just like a theme throughout the album. So, it was average. Evocative, it definitely made me feel emotions. Certain songs almost bring me to tears. I mean, you'll hear one that almost brought me to tears. And then other ones are just like, your typical Zach Bryan songs. 6, for replayability, I've been bumping it since it's dropped. I've like put it on repeat as well as some other songs. So I definitely think it's something you can repeat. But I honestly like shuffling through it instead of listening to it in a row, which is unique because usually I'm not like that. And then Instagram worthy. This is different from shareability because Instagram worthy is like you're sharing this with the masses. You think everyone's going to enjoy it. Shareability is just would I share this with my close friends? So for Instagram worthy, I would give it a 7. I would definitely post these songs on my stories, and I would definitely put some of these lyrics as Instagram captions. And then shareability, I would give it a 5. Not because I don't want to share it with my close friends, but because it's not the music I get super excited to share with my close friends. Usually that's some other type of music, usually some indie song or something, but I'm going to give my 3 favorite songs before I actually give you the ranking out of 7. So my 3 favorite songs, although there were like 3 other ones that I could have put in my top 3, it was very hard to decide. But number 1 was Jake's Piano. That was the one that almost brought me to tears when I listened to it the first time. It's just real sad, about loss and everything. It's just a really good song. Hey Driver. When I first listened to it, I was like, okay, this is like whatever. But the more I listen to it, the more it just grows on me, and I like it a lot. And then number 3, I Remember Everything. Whoever the girl is in that song, I didn't write down her name, but her voice is amazing. I love it, and it just goes so well with Zach Bryan's voice. So what I would give this album is a 5.21 out of 7, making this album a little bit better than a good album. So it's a good album, but just slightly better. But that's all I have time for today. Thank you guys for listening, and come back to RooTV next week to hear whatever opinions I have about music.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Roos Closet. I'm your host, Gabe Rocha. Now, before we get started, I want to take this moment to say that every single person has their own sense of style. Whether that be jeans and a hoodie, pants and a blazer, this program is all about promoting self-confidence and exploring fashion as a mean of self-expression. If that sounds good, let's get into it. Alrighty, so for this first episode back, we're going to be talking about great back-to-school brands on a budget, because we all know that textbooks can get really expensive, but we still don't want to break the bank while looking good. So this first brand is from Target, and it's called Goodfellow & Co. They have a variety of different types of clothing, from pants, shoes, shorts, shirts, even grooming supplies. Personally, I have gotten many basic tees from there that come in solid colors. They're light and comfortable, easy breezy, and they average around $5. Another item I have gotten from there were some comfortable, basic, casual jogger shorts. Great for lounging around, running around doing errands on the weekend, and those cost you around $10. Target is a great place to find great quality clothes for a solid price. This next place I'm going to be talking about is Walmart. Yes, that's right, Walmart. I love Walmart. You might be thinking, Gabe, Walmart, really? Yes, really. I love the graphic tees, and Walmart delivers on the graphic tees. I'm telling you. They offer many graphic tees with many different themes, such as country, Disney, superheroes, nature, bands. They have a variety of different types of things that average around $7. They're comfortable, good quality, and good for you. Okay, so this last brand, and this last thing I have to mention, it's not really a brand, but I have to mention it for my thrifting friends. eBay. What? That's right, you heard me right. eBay. I will say you do have to be careful with online shopping because you can't physically try on the clothes and feel and see them. You have to trust what the buyer or the sellers upload. But nevertheless, I love eBay. This vest that I'm wearing right now is actually from eBay, and I only got it for around $15. It's very high quality and very comfortable. I believe it is a steal. eBay is a great place because you can get great one-of-a-kind pieces and you can haggle with the price. Well, that's all the time I have for today. If you have questions, comments, I'd love to hear them from you in the comment section below. And I would also love to hear suggestions for things you would like me to talk about in the next coming weeks. Thanks for listening. Roo up, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of RooTV.
Be sure to hop on the subscribe button and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at RooNewsUMKC. See you next week.
Rock and roll McDonald's.
Okay. Length, atmosphere, storytelling, evocative, Insta-worthy,